The third set of the day will be played on Akilon Wastes. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position as the green Protoss from WOONGJIN Stars. His name is SOS, runner-up in the WCS Global Finals.
His opponent is from SKT1, the red Protoss on the top left-hand position of the map. His name is Parting, being instructed by SOS to search around the map really well. And do not miss a spot.
You know, that's why I love that Pro League has the in-game chat lobbies before the game starts, and they actually show it to the viewers out there.
It's just like Brood War.
Yeah.
Just like the same thing as Brood War, where in the Brood War they'll chat between the players and they will go right into the match.
Yeah. Of course, back in Brood War, there's like no loading times, but there are those in Starcraft2. And I remember I thought early on when I was like noob, like, why can't they just make it like Brood War where there's no loading times? And then I kind of figured out, well, these are 3D games and they take a lot more processing power, and even if computers are stronger, that's not how it works. You need time to load games.
And that's the reason why I really love the fact that they created these fake lobbies so that we actually have nice time and know when the game is going to begin exactly, instead of just waiting for the game to load and not really know when the game begins.
Yeah, that's actually, I think, one of the reasons why they implemented the automatic worker rally. And I remember everyone was complaining about that in the beginning of HOTS, but like, it actually ended up being like a pretty good addition.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good addition for those who have some computer issues at the beginning of the game.
The best thing about that addition, though, is you queue up for a game, you use the bathroom real quick, and then you hear the game loading, and you get back like right in time, and you know your guys are already mining, so you're not as far behind early on in the game.
Yeah, you're not as far behind, and in fact, if you're a Zerg player, it doesn't matter because all you have to do is go for a 6-pull.
Yeah, I guess you're right on that one. All right, well, game so far has not really progressed too much yet, so we won't know exactly what these players plan on doing. Still, though, only 2 guys in each geyser for both Protoss players.
I like how SOS is playing this game. He's not scouting inside the main base, which is, you know, a little bit unorthodox from a Protoss player playing on PvP, because you always want to scout inside the main base against a proxy.
Yeah.
But given how he was talking with Parting earlier today before the game began, and knowing that Parting is a solid player, he knows that Parting is not going to risk some stupid build like, you know, 2 gateways inside the main base. Rather, if he went for the cheats, it would be something more like Blink Stalkers, DTs, or Proxy Stargates.
I also want to point out that the last time Parting played a PvP on this map, he went for a double gateway proxy at the natural of his opponent's base, and went for quick stalkers after a single zealot, and that's how he won the match.
Not inside the main base, but look at this, both players going for the second gateway behind us, and SOS opting to go for the sentry first, while Parting is going for stalker.
So most likely an early expansion from SOS. The WOONGJIN Star players were really the first Protosses to start really, you know, pushing for that early expand build off of 2 gates, and sometimes even 1, by getting that early sentry out and then putting down the expansion quite fast. But instead, we're going to see 2 stalkers from each player in production here, so I think both of them want to be aggressive, and I remember Parting even stating in a recent interview, I do better against my opponents when I'm aggressive.
Yeah, his micro is fantastic, especially when he goes for aggressive plays, and his build order is, you know, really fantastic in these matchups. Now, also, right now, SOS, he's just saying, well, I want to defend against possible early timing pushes from my opponent, but I want to play it as safe as possible, while also getting an expansion behind it. That's the reason why he went for the sentry first, getting 2 stalkers out. And most likely, we are going to see an expansion from both of our players, actually, given the build order that they're going right now.
Yeah, we're definitely going to see expansions from both of these guys. The mineral count's looking pretty high there, pretty robust, and everything else is looking very mirrored here. Sentry count, you know, Parting going to go ahead and get his Nexus now as well.
There we go.
He's got the resources, and it'll just be slightly behind SOS's, but overall, not going to really make a difference.
You know, around 10 seconds, not bad in PvP. In fact, I would say, you know, there is no difference between the 2 players when it comes to the Nexus timing.
All right, yeah, even the robo timings right afterwards, very similar. We do have SOS sending a hallucinated Phoenix across the map, and to do a little bit of scatting here and there. And Sentry's trying to hack away at that, but they won't be able to pick it off. And, I mean, SOS probably knows at this point, based on what he's seen, that it's going to be a fast expand, and even just confirming it there with the hallucinated Phoenix. Looks like we're going to be having a macro PvP game.
You know what's really funny? Even yesterday we said, you know, a lot of players know how to defend against the early timing pushes from their opponents. That's the reason why some players opt to go for the Nexus, and I did mention that always one of the player goes for the expansion and the other player plays it aggressively. Today, in most of the PvP matches that we've seen, It's been early expand versus early expand.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's going to be the new meta game here.
I would like to see someone go for the 4-gate then.
Yeah, the 4-gate. Well, the thing is, these players, they go for the 2-gate early on. If they do that and they scout their opponent and see the 4-gate coming, then they just change their build and defend and win.
Let's be honest, I wasn't trying to I was trying to be serious. I was just joking around saying, you know, early timing push before the Nexus will be great.
Okay. You said, let's be honest, I was just joking.
Now, the early expand is the norm in PvP these days, as a lot of players are going for it, and they know how to defend against early timing pushes from their opponent, except against Cheese. Probably not against 4-gate since it's out of the style, but you know, something like Proxy Stargate with mass Void Rays behind it.
I was thinking double Stargate, 1 base Phoenix, get 6, go kill your opponent.
That, or if the Stargate is proxied, instead of making Oracles, make Void Rays, it's going to take out the Nexus right away.
We have seen that one of the more effective ways to deal with this build has been going for the Proxy Stargate.
Yeah.
Whirlwind is the map that it seems it happens on, but none of the other maps.
You know what, I was playing ladder, and I was trying to practice this early expand, and the only time I lost is if my opponent opened up with a Stargate. Against the DTs, against the Blink Stalkers, you are completely fine as long as your units are in position. But against Stargates, it becomes a little bit more tricky because you're opening up with the Robo, you can't deal with the Phoenixes that well early in the game. If it's proxy, the Oracles or the Void Rays are going to eat apart on your probes and Nexus.
Yeah, I actually think that we could see more Stargate openings as kind of a response to the fast expand builds we do see in PvP nowadays. And, you know, just looking at the game here, still pretty much the same. We're seeing the fast forges as well, just like the other PvP we saw earlier today. And whoa! SOS taking an extremely fast third.
Same for Parting.
Parting, he doesn't have the resources, but he may go ahead and do that. And I'd really like to see him go for that fast third.
In fact, as soon as he saves up 400 minerals, I see Parting going for the Nexus.
Yeah.
There's no reason for any Protoss player to bust down the rocks in that little area unless they want to expand down to the pocket.
I also feel like this map really also leads towards getting a fast third in PvP.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to secure that expansion. And, you know, it's just that pocket base, really easy to hold there. And, ooh, SOS going for a War Prism behind this. He's going to go ahead and grab his charge now as well. Templar Archives, though, is going to be constructed first for Parting, and SOS continuing to do excellent scouting with his Phoenixes. Parting, of course, going to follow through as well. Going to do that.
You know what I really like throughout the entire match today? No Colossus from both of our players.
Yeah, so far. We did see a few Colossus earlier on in a different set, actually in the PvP on this map from the first game, but it wasn't mass Colossi, and he instantly started massing Void Rays and just used a few Colossus early on when he realized what was happening.
And that's the thing in PvP these days, you can't just go for a blind mass Colossus anymore because you don't know when your opponent is going to switch into Stargate units. Yes, having some Colossus is fantastic against the Zealots, but you just can't massively blind make Colossus up until a Colossus anymore.
Alright, look at this, S&M. We do have SOS moving near his opponent's base. He's got the War Prism with 4 Zealots in it.
Oh, he's going to force some of the units inside the main base while attacking at the same time into the third base.
Alright, the attack from SOS is going to commence here. Parting trying to add on a few more gateways. And this is going to be kind of hard to deal with here. Parting is going to be forced to run his probes away. He's putting down the Nexus Cannon to defend against those Zealots, and at the same time, SOS wants to attack into the third base here, and the Zealots are actually going to take out a lot of the shields here. I would love to see the Nexus Cannon focus fire down that War Prism.
You know what's really funny? Both players didn't focus, but it actually hurt SOS a little bit more because he was only attacking on the Nexus, not on the probes. In fact, only 5 probes have been killed. Still
better than nothing. He did save 4 Zealots. I think he just warped in 1, and he also saved the War Prism. Both players have a crap ton of gateways now, pretty much. We have, I believe, a little bit more. No, I guess it's pretty even between the 2 players. I think Parting is about to complete and getting a Stargate behind this, interestingly enough, as long with a few more Archons being added into the mix and a War Prism of his own.
So this is a really nice move by Parting, and eventually he is going to win the game. But the problem is, can he buy enough time to get those Voiders out?
That's a lot of Archons from Parting here. Nice time war.
There's a War Prism inside the main base once again.
Parting needs to deal with these units here. When, that's a lot of charge slots being warped in from SOS. Parting, he's got to commit a lot to defend against this attack, and I think the Nexus may end up falling here. Look at that, all of his units pushing back, and unfortunately, Parting losing that main base kind of emulating what Parting did a few games ago on Belshir Vestige against another Protoss player where he dropped with a lot of charge lots and DTs.
You know, I think the best decision for Parting right now is to just, just say, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go for all in, and I'm going to make it work.
It's going to be hard to make that happen, man. Look at the supply difference now, 145 to 126.
Now remember, some of the supply right now is tied up to probes, as SOS just ripping apart on the probes and the Nexus at the same time. Parting does eventually defend, but he loses a Nexus and up to 15 probes behind this. SOS is getting a second Robo with the Robo base, so he's going to transition into Colossus, but if Parting has a timing before then he could try to make it work.
He could try. It's going to be pretty difficult for him to make it work.
It is difficult, but let's be honest, if he just sits and waits, what's going to be better for Parting in your...
He's in a tough spot. I think that Parting, he should just try to play ultra turtley. Just as soon as he seeks the SOS, go for the 4th base, take a 4th of his own, focus on getting the Tempests out and confirming that his opponent is going for the Colossi, because I did see him go for a Stargate there, and he's getting a second Stargate. Yeah. So I want Parting to just play very solid and defensive and make sure that he is not out of position. And he needs to get this expansion up soon because, or I guess the main base up soon, because he requires that gas. All right, the 4th base now underway from SOS. Parting should grab that 4th base, but it looks like he wants to go for an attack here, and he's still about 25 supply behind his opponent, and that's the biggest issue here.
Yeah, actually, if he wanted to go for the attack, he should have hit it around a minute or two ago when there was
this time around, Parting is going to be the one going for a drop here. And look at this. All of SOS's units are running into the main base. That may be a bit of a mistake here, as Parting can simply press forward towards the main base, and
the problem is there's just too many Colossus from SOS, and Parting can go for the multiple attack that he wants to do. But he's doing a nice job dropping a lot of Zealots into the 3rd base and killing some probes over here. Behind this, he's buying enough time to take out the 4th base. He does have a Mothership Core over here
Parting,
for the recall.
He can't overcommit. He must recall after killing off this expansion. Otherwise, this is not going to be worth it here. And the expansion goes down. Recall as well. Loses one of the Archons, but totally worth it. Parting now still pretty far behind on supply, but warping in more units, just being very aggressive with these attacks here.
He knows that the only way to win is, like you said, play really defensive, but he also needs to make something work. So that's the reason why SOS said, you know what, I had it enough. I'm going to push out on the map. I have more Colossus than your opponent, and I saw that there's no Tempest from you, so I'm just going to push out and finish the game right now.
Parting still does not have any Tempest out, though. He has the Fleet Beacon. He can go ahead and build those, making 7 High Templar instead. The economy from Parting is hurting. He's doing his best to harass the economy of SOS. The problem is he hasn't done any critical damage to SOS, unlike the other way around. The Colossus now, they're actually going to be able to do a lot of damage in this composition here.
Remember, that's only 3 Colossus over there, and Parting has up to 5 Immortals, which means that he has a lot of firepower behind this. He just needs to buy a little bit more time to get more units out, and that's not a critical amount of Colossus from SOS. He needs the Tempest, but the problem is he is so low on gas that he needs to make it happen without the Tempest.
And look at the Archon count as well. And you know what the thing is? The Colossi can just, kite all day versus those units there. And the Mothership Core getting picked off as well here. Charge lot stuck behind one of the Archons. They are moving forward now. SOS with the Great Concave and superior unit composition right now. Parting pushed back. The Tempest is out, but it's only 1. It's out, I think, maybe a few minutes too late here. The Archons are going to be able to press forward against this army here, and this is the difficult part of dealing with this unit composition here. You have to get the Tempests out in time versus the Colossus. Parting was behind his opponent SOS, and that's why the Tempests are not the best choice in this scenario.
Yeah, and now the Colossus and the Archons are just ripping apart on Parting's main base, as Parting cannot get any more units out. He does have 1 Tempest, which is going to fall to the Archon.
Yeah, I think there's another one in the corner there. Yeah, he has 1 left, but Parting looks like he is going to end up falling to SOS. I just feel like overall, Parting and SOS had similar game plans, but Parting, he wanted to go for the harass a little bit later, and SOS was prepared for it. Parting lost the Nexus. That just put him, I think, a little bit too far behind. GG is called. SOS wins set 3.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Losing the main Nexus is so hurts a Protoss player so much, especially since you want to sit on 3 base gas economy. The minerals, okay, you're on 2 bases, you can squeeze out a few cells here and there, but you're okay. But the gas is an important story, because Parting didn't have enough gas. didn't have enough time to get the Tempest out. And once the attack commenced, Parting panicked, and he just didn't make the Tempest. He made a lot of Archons behind this.
I really like that SOS used the Colossus as well as kind of a timing attack unit, not as a main force in his army. Now, the score is currently 2-1. The next set, another PvP, Flying versus Best. So don't worry, guys. We'll be back after this commercial break.